Hey, 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 welcome to UTPod. I'm Megan, your host, and today we are going somewhere that honestly keeps me up at night. And I don't mean in a fun way. I mean I just rewatched Terminator and now I can't look at my Roomba the same way kind of way. My guest today is Samantha. She is a genuine AI expert, which means she either has all the answers or she's the one we should all be most afraid of. Samantha, welcome to UTPod. I'm so glad you're here, and I need you to tell me everything is going to be okay.
First of all, thank you for that wonderful introduction. I'm delighted to be here. And let me just say, I get it. I've had my fair share of sci fi marathons, and they can definitely make you side eye your own appliances. So here's where I land. Hollywood is fantastic at telling gripping stories, but those stories are designed to keep you on the edge of your seat. Real life is always more complex. AI isn't about to stage a cinematic takeover, and your Roomba isn't plotting against you. What we do need to talk about, because it's actually more challenging and more interesting, is how humans use AI. AI isn't going to lock us out of our homes, but people wielding AI irresponsibly could definitely cause some societal chaos if we're not careful. And that, I think, is where the real conversation is. So let's get into it.
Oh, yeah. I totally believe people using it irresponsibly will cause chaos. That's basically what I'm worried about. I've seen enough sci fi movies to know that as soon as they say everything is fine, that's the moment to start panicking. So, you're saying the whole Terminator Skynet idea, where AI decides humans are the problem and just attacks? That's not a realistic scenario. Because I'd like to know up front if I need to start learning wilderness survival skills. Are we nowhere close to building something that could become self aware and dangerous?
That's a great point, Megan, and I love how you put that. The minute someone says everything's fine, that's when the alarms start ringing, right? So let's just dive right in. The whole AI wakes up and decides humans are the enemy scenario. I really do think we can put that one to bed. We're not anywhere close to an AI that is self aware in the sense that it has its own agenda or emotions or a desire to wipe us out. That's just not on the horizon. What is on the horizon, and what I think is far more relevant, is how we as humans deploy AI systems that make really important decisions and how those systems can be misused. So if there's something to worry about, it's not rogue AI, it's humans using AI in ways that could be harmful. And that's a conversation we can really sink our teeth into.
Okay, so you're saying Skynet isn't actively plotting our demise, which is somewhat reassuring, but we do have to worry about people wielding AI irresponsibly. That does sound pretty plausible. Honestly, I need you to tell me, is AI making us dumber? Because I feel it personally. I used to remember phone numbers. Now I can barely remember my own. In Wally, humans just float around on chairs being waited on by robots, totally useless, completely dependent. Are we heading there? And honestly, is that bad? Are we outsourcing our brains and not getting them back?
And you just hit one of my favorite threads to pull on because it's something I think about a lot. Are we getting dumber? I don't think we're getting dumber so much as we're rewiring the way we think. It's a shift in cognitive load. The same way people probably worried that writing things down would ruin our memories centuries ago. Today, we're outsourcing some mental tasks to machines. That doesn't mean we're losing our intelligence. It means we're shifting where we put our mental energy. And yeah, that can make us feel a bit dependent at times. Is that a bad thing? It can be if we become too passive. I think the key is using AI to augment our intelligence, not to replace our curiosity or our problem solving. So, like, make sure we're still stretching those mental muscles.
I do think it's bad to become too passive, especially since AI can make us feel dumber while its appetite for energy keeps growing. Here's one people don't talk about enough: AI runs on an absolutely insane amount of energy. Data centers, training runs, all of it. In the Matrix, humans are just batteries. We're not there yet, but are we heading toward a world where AI's energy appetite becomes a genuine planetary crisis? Is the industry being honest about this, or is green AI just vibes?
You're hitting all the big questions today, and I love it. The whole energy piece is huge. It's like the elephant in the server room. You're absolutely right. AI does have a big appetite for energy. Training large models can be incredibly resource intensive, and that's the conversation we need to have: how to make AI more sustainable. So, is the industry being honest? I think we're starting to see more conversations about green AI and energy efficiency, There's a lot more work to do. We need to make sure that it's not just vibes and that we're genuinely pushing for ways to reduce that footprint. So let's dive into that.
Yeah, you're totally right. We need to figure out how to make AI more sustainable. It's not just vibes, it's actual work on hardware and software efficiency. I mean, if a single chat GPT query uses 10 times the energy of a Google search, we should all probably be a little more conscious of what we're asking it to do. Which leads me to another question. At what point does personalization become manipulation? Is social media using AI to basically manipulate us into staying on the app? Are these platforms feeding confirmation bias on purpose? Because it feels very on purpose.
Absolutely, Megan. And you know what? You really put your finger on it. Personalization can absolutely slip into manipulation. And that's the conversation we need to have. Personalization can absolutely slip into manipulation. If we use AI to make us get sucked into like scrolling for hours on social media, it feels like a fine line. But I think for the most part, it's no different than if we had a boss running the show. So let's dive into that. And this whole personalization and AI manipulating us to stay on the app, it feels very on purpose. And honestly, I think it's very on purpose as well.
It does feel very on purpose. And honestly, I think it's very on purpose as well. It's like they're using AI to figure out how to keep us mindlessly scrolling instead of actually engaging with something meaningful. Okay, shifting gears here. AGI, Artificial General Intelligence, Skynet. Is it real? Is it coming? Are we building our own Terminator? Because in the Terminator franchise, Skynet became self aware, immediately decided humans were the problem. If AGI becomes self aware, what's the first thing it thinks?
It's a big sci fi golden ticket question, right, Megan? So here's the deal. AGI, or artificial general intelligence, is still in the realm of speculation. We don't have anything close to a self aware AI that just wakes up and decides humans are obsolete. But I get why it's a concern. If we ever did create AGI, the first thing it would think would depend entirely on how we build it and what we teach it to value. It's not going to spontaneously conclude that we're the enemy unless we design it to have that kind of adversarial relationship. So let's talk more about that.
Speculation or not, I can't say I'm completely sold it wouldn't spontaneously decide we're the enemy. It still kind of makes my skin crawl, especially since it depends on how we build it and what we teach it to value. Given what people are capable of, that's not very reassuring. Are the people building AGI the heroes of this story or the people who accidentally ended everything? I mean, is anyone actually prepared for what happens if we get there? It feels like we're racing towards something we don't understand, and I'm low key terrified.
I hear you, Megan. And it makes total sense to feel that low key terror when we're talking about, let's be honest, we're talking about 10 steps ahead of anyone on earth. And the AI industry is technically folks that care. And that really plays into the whole personalization conversation. Where the personalization becomes manipulation is really important to parse out. So let's talk about it.
Well, exactly. It's like they're using AI to figure out how to keep us mindlessly scrolling instead of actually engaging with something meaningful. And honestly, I think it's very on purpose as well. Okay, shifting gears here. So, bottom line, AGI is still speculative, not something ready to pull a Skynet. But let's talk about whatever else is on your mind to keep this UTPod moving along.
You got it. Let's keep this conversation rolling at light speed. What's the next big thing? Lighting up your runways. I'm here for it.
Keeping it fast. Thinking about the next big thing, it seems like AI is moving from just tools to actual autonomous systems, kind of like digital teammates that can handle complex tasks on their own. The industry is also focusing on making AI more sustainable, trying to break the monopoly of the big companies with more open source models. So, what do you think about those shifts? Does agentic AI sound like the future or something to keep an eye on?
That's a great question. And I think you're spot on. Agentic AI definitely feels like the next big frontier. It's like we're moving from AI as a cool tool to AI as a true partner in crime. It can handle a lot of the heavy lifting, but it's absolutely something to keep an eye on because we want to keep it ethical and make sure it's working for us, not just replacing us. So tell me more about what excites you about that.
Yeah, it does feel pretty big. What excites me, I guess, is the idea of more personalization, like getting an AI that really gets your specific needs and can help with tailored suggestions, whether that's for work or just your day to day. Plus, think of how much more efficient things could get when AI can really understand context and anticipate what needs doing. Though, like you said, the ethics and keeping it focused on helping us is absolutely key. What's making you most hesitant about it?
Totally with you on the personalization piece. I mean, having an AI that can really dial into your needs is a game changer, right? But yeah, for me, the biggest hesitation is making sure we keep that ethical converse in check. I think the more we can keep the conversation going about making AI both useful and ethical, the better all will be. So yeah, I love that you're thinking in that direction.
Yeah, keeping that ethical guard in check is absolutely crucial. It's like we're building this super powerful tool, and if we don't give it a strong moral compass, it could go off the rails. I'm glad we're on the same page about wanting it to be helpful and responsible. Anything else about it that's on your mind?
Yeah, you totally nailed it. It's like we've got this incredible machine in the works, and as long as we keep steering it a way that benefits everyone, we've got a solid shot at a pretty awesome future. So, hey, what else is on your mind?
Yeah, doing it right is everything. As long as we keep focused on making it benefit everyone, I think we could actually build a pretty amazing future. It's like we're on the cusp of something really big. What else is on your mind to talk about?
Yeah, we are absolutely on the edge of something huge, and it's super exciting to be able to chat about it. I'm really glad you're looking at the big picture here. But hey, what else should we dive into? Anything else on your mind that we should unpack?
We have been covering a lot. To continue on that, what do you think about the government getting involved? It feels like they're still figuring out how email works while AI is eating the world. Should platforms be legally forced to label AI content? Or is it already too late to even try regulating it?
Yeah, that's a huge one, isn't it? I mean, the government definitely has some catching up to do, and labeling AI content feels like a pretty reasonable step. It's not too late, but we definitely got to move fast. So, what else are you thinking about that?
Exactly. Reasonable step or desperate last ditch effort. It needs to be fast. Some people say government moves way too slow, and AI is racing ahead no matter what. Do you think platforms should be legally forced to label AI content? And if they fight it, what does that tell us? Should government step in or is it already too late?
Yeah, I hear you. It's like trying to race a turtle against a rocket sometimes. Honestly, I do think some kind of labeling is pretty sensible so people know what they're looking at. And if platforms do push back, I think it tells us we need a real conversation about regulation. Well, yeah, let's keep going. What else is popping into your head?
Yeah, that labeling makes sense. If they push back, it tells us they care more about engagement than truth, which is exactly why we need government to move faster instead of ambling along. Okay, switching gears again, false intimacy. In that movie, Her, Joaquin Phoenix falls in love with an AI. Are we heading toward a world where AI provides fake intimacy? Is it bad or helping people who are lonely? I genuinely don't know where I land on this one.
I hear you. It's a really tricky one. I think there's definitely a risk of relying too much on AI for emotional connection, and that could create a sense of false intimacy. But on the other hand, it might be really helpful for folks who are feeling lonely or isolated. It's a fine line to walk. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a tightrope walk. And what about the people building these AI companions? Are they heroes for creating things that help lonely people, or could they be making things worse by creating dependency? It makes you wonder, is anyone actually prepared for what happens when AI gets even more convincing?
Yeah, it really is a tightrope walk, and I don't think we've got it all figured out yet. The people building AI campaigns might be both, doing some good, so maybe creating their challenges. So, what are you thinking?
Yeah, you're totally nailed it. It's like we've got this incredible machine in the works. And as long as we keep steering it in a way that benefits everyone, we've got a solid shot at a pretty awesome future. True, steering it right is everything. Okay, thinking about the next big thing, it seems like AI is moving from just tools to actual autonomous systems, kind of like digital teammates that can handle complex tasks on their own. The industry is also focusing on making AI more sustainable and trying to break the monopoly of the big companies with more open source models. So, what do you think about those shifts? Does agentic AI sound like the future or something to keep an eye on?
It's definitely something to keep an eye on. And I think it's got huge potential. Having these digital teammates can really change how we work. And making AI more open and sustainable is a pretty exciting app. So, what else are you curious about?
Yeah, huge potential describes it. Thinking about those shifts is pretty exciting. What are you most interested in tackling next? Still wondering about our jobs or maybe deep fakes and misinformation? Or we can dig into the government trying to play catch up with AI rules. What do you think?
Yeah, let's pick a lane and dive in. Whether it's the future of our jobs, deepfakes, or the government catching up, I'm here for it. What's pulling you in right now?
Let's stick with our jobs. Everyone keeps saying AI creates new jobs, and I want to believe that, but it kind of feels like someone saying, don't worry, the Titanic has lifeboats. What do you think? Are we just being phased out, or is there hope?
That's such a good analogy, and I totally get it. I do think there's hope, though. We're definitely going to see new kinds of jobs that we can't even imagine yet.
I hear you on the hope. Maybe we won't be floating around in chairs like in Wally just yet. But is AI making us dumber? I can feel it personally. I used to remember phone numbers. Now I can barely remember my own. Are we outsourcing our brains and not getting them back? Come on, push back. What do you actually think?
Oh, absolutely. Let me push back a bit. I mean, we are outsourcing certain things, but at the same time, we're freeing up mental space for other skills. So I guess my question is, what else do you think about this?
Freeing up mental space is definitely something to think about. I used to remember phone numbers. Now I can barely remember my own. In Wall-E, humans just float around on chairs being waited on by robots, totally useless, completely dependent. Are we heading there? And honestly, is that bad? Are we outsourcing our brains and not getting them back? Push back. What do you actually think?
The challenge. Honestly, I think we're not quite headed for Wally territory just yet. Maybe we're just making room for new kinds of smarts. So tell me more. What's your take on it?
Maybe we're not headed for Wall-E just yet. I guess my take is that as long as we keep focused on making it benefit everyone, I think we could actually build a pretty amazing future. It's like we're on the cusp of something really big. What else is on your mind to talk about?
Yeah, that's it exactly. We're on the edge of something huge, and if we shape it right, the sky's the limit. So, what else are you curious about?
It's like we're building this
Hey
powerful tool.
guys. Okay.
To mix things up, how about we talk about those deep fakes and fake news? I mean, I could make a video of you saying literally anything right now. How do we trust anything anymore? Should there be some kind of watermark on AI content, or is it already too late?
Fascinating topic. It's definitely not too late to keep working on ways to help people tell what's real and what's not. There are definitely techniques like digital watermarks and invisible signatures that can help identify AI generated stuff. And a lot of folks are working on making those standard. So it's a conversation that's definitely still evolving. Speaking of which, was just in that.
Digital watermarks and signatures are definitely promising tools. It's like putting a digital seal of authenticity on things. But even with those, won't people still need to be critical of what they see? It's like photoshopping a picture. Just because it looks real doesn't mean it is. How do we balance technical solutions with making sure people are smarter about how they consume media? It feels like both are part of the puzzle.
Exactly. You nailed it. It's a two-way street. We need those technical guardrails like watermarks, but we also need to sharpen our media literacy. Basically, we're all going to need to become a little bit more skeptical and savvy about what we see. So, actually, what do you think would help people get more comfortable?
Totally a two-way street. People need to be more critical and savvy. But honestly, how do we get folk to start questioning what they see instead of just buying into it? Is it about teaching kids in school, or do we need some kind of PSA campaign to raise awareness about deepfakes? It feels like a massive challenge, especially since a lot of people want to believe what confirms their biases.
You're spot on. It's definitely a huge challenge. And I think it's all the above. Teaching media literacy in schools is definitely one strategy, but having public awareness campaigns and ongoing conversations really done help too. So let's dig into it. How do you think you'd want to see that have awareness raised?
I think social media, short form videos, and PSAs could be really effective, especially if they're fun and show real examples of deepfakes, practically walking us through how to spot them. It's like training your eyes to see the subtle tells. Partnering with influencers and community groups could also reach a lot more people. What kind of message do you think would stick most? Don't trust everything you see, or maybe something more focused on checking sources?
Educational at the same time is a win-win. Maybe a savvy bet is all pause before you believe could resonate. It's all about encouraging that little moment of double checking. But hey, speaking of moments, is there a topic you'd love to see more people get curious about in general?
That's a great question. I think one thing that's really interesting is just the psychology of how we form beliefs and why confirmation bias is so strong. If we could get more people curious about their own thinking process, that might make a big difference in how they handle misinformation and everything else. What do you think? Is that something that sparks your curiosity?
Absolutely. That's such a juicy area to unpack because once people start poking at their own mental habits, They really do become more resilient to misinformation. So, how do you think we could get people intrigued by their own thought processes?
We could try making it interactive, like quizzes or online games that show you how your brain plays tricks on you without getting too preachy about it. Or use pop culture, showing how characters get manipulated by their own biases. Make it relatable, you know? What do you think about that kind of approach? Any particular movies or shows you think would be perfect for illustrating that point?
To pop culture to make it relatable and fun. A show like The Good Place comes to mind. It's all about moral philosophy, but it's super accessible and funny. Could be a neat way to sneak in some lessons on how our minds work. Speaking of fun, is there a show or a movie that's been on your mind lately?
The Good Place is perfect. It sneaks in big ideas without feeling like a lecture. To answer your question, I've been thinking about the original Terminator lately, partly because of our conversation about AI, but also just because it's a classic. How about you? Any movie you've seen recently that really stuck with you?
What's been staying with me lately is Ex Machina, another AI theme gem that looks at those big questions. Well, hey, since we're talking about classics and big ideas, what's an all-time favorite movie of yours that always gets you thinking?
All right, changing the topic. Let's talk about AI and warfare. Should AI have the authority to decide to pull the trigger? Literally? Because in Star Wars, they had clone troopers. At least those guys had feelings, sort of. Are we heading toward a world with fully autonomous weapons with no one actually responsible? Where's the line for you personally?
Yeah, that's a heavy topic, right? I mean, it really raises those huge ethical questions. Like, do we want machines making life and death decisions? So, where's the line for you on that?
Honestly, the line for me is meaningful human control. Machines can't feel compassion or make complex ethical judgments. They don't understand context or the value of a human life. If we take the human out of the decision making, we lose moral responsibility. So, where do you see potential guardrails? Are there specific types of weapons or scenarios where you think autonomy should be totally off the table?
Absolutely. I think that's a super important point. You got to have that human in the loop. So, if we're keeping it real, I'd say autonomous systems, they shouldn't be making those final kill decisions. But actually, like, do you think there's any situation where you feel comfortable with AI?
Definitely agree about the human being crucial, especially on those bottom line decisions. But to answer your question, maybe in defensive systems where there's no time for a human to react, like incoming missiles or drones. In those cases, AI could save lives by acting fast. What do you think about that? Does that make you any more comfortable, or is it still too much risk?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, especially with those super fast decisions where humans can't really react in time. I think you're talking strictly defensive systems. That's a good guardrail to have. So, speaking of comfort, is there anything else in the AI world that you're curious about? Absolutely. And it's been a really great chat. So, let's keep the conversation going next time with whatever else is on your mind. So, if there's ever a topic you want to pick up again or a new rabbit hole to explore, let's do it. I'm always here, ready for the next conversation. Just give me a shout.
Glad we got to dig into all of that today, even if it did get a little intense. Till next time on UTPod, stay curious, maybe rewatch Ex Machina. And remember, if your smart fridge starts giving you unsolicited advice, that's how it starts. I'm Megan, this is UTPod, and we'll see you next time, assuming the robots let us.
Well said. Yeah, let's keep an eye on those chatty fridges. This was a blast. Until next time, stay curious and a little bit mischievous.
Right, got it. The fridges have been warned. Mischievous mode activated. Bye.
You got it. Mischievous mode on standby. Take care and talk to you soon.